Good morning. I am Bev Curtis with House of Brokers Realty, and I run the team Bev & Co. And I am here this morning with Cheryl in my office. And Cheryl, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Cheryl Maupin. I'm Bev's assistant. And today I'm kind of here as the marketing director of Bev & Co. House of Brokers Realty. And we are going to be talking all about Zillow.
Awesome. Okay. Well, welcome to our kickoff this morning with Breakfast with Bev this week. So as Cheryl said, Zillow is a kind of a mystery to some people. It's an excellent platform for both buyers and sellers to do a lot of research, gather information, and help them with the starting of their process, whether they're buying or selling. But I think there's also lots of confusion about Zillow and what the real purpose is and how to navigate through it and just sort through the information to make certain that you're getting the correct information on the property that you are inquiring about. So that's why we're going to kind of discuss several topics about Zillow this morning, and hopefully we can kind of wade through some of that and give you some good knowledge and background. So the reason why I have Cheryl here this morning with me is Cheryl has been my back-end director of operations as far as the marketing side on my team now for going on 6 years. So she's been a wonderful asset to our team and is very knowledgeable in the research side of the marketing aspect. And so we're going to kind of have her share with you a lot of her knowledge that she's gained through the years and some of the things that she experiences on the day-in basis with our buyers and sellers. So I'm going to ask a few questions to Cheryl, and she's going to kind of fill us in on the information that she thinks that you need to know about this. So first off, let's talk about from a buyer aspect, Cheryl, why is Zillow important?
You know, it's a great advertising website. Most buyers all go there. The majority of listings on the market are on Zillow. It's probably the biggest advertising website out there currently. They do tons of marketing. The majority of people we work with start their search on Zillow. One of the big things you need to know about Zillow is everybody has to make money. Mm-hmm. Zillow, they make money. It's an advertising vehicle for other agents. So one of the ways they make money is by selling leads to agents. Mm-hmm. And so in doing that, when we put your listing on Zillow and when buyers are looking, their goal is to capture you as the buyer, a lead, and send it to an agent or their premier agent. So I think the biggest thing to just keep in mind is you could be sent to several other agents, not just the listing agent. If you're cool with that, that's great. You know, it's really good to have a buyer's agent and have your own representation. Mm-hmm. Some people want to go directly to the listing agent. So really pay attention on who you are asking to contact if you do contact people through Zillow. Now, if you already have an agent, it's a great place to start your search. You might want to contact your agent and have them look deeper into a home that you're interested in. Otherwise, if you go clicking, you're going to get bombarded with tons of agents contacting you. Sure. So that's just, it's a great place to start. It has lots of information. It has almost every listing. I think almost every agent out there, especially in Missouri, submits their listings to Zillow.
Well, and in essence, it boils down, you have to pay to play. So it's the platform that everybody goes to. So that's where you pretty much invest your money as far as trying to get your top searches and exposures on your property. So switching gears then, let's say I'm a seller. How is Zillow beneficial to me at that point then?
I think it's all the buyers are there. So, it's a great place for market exposure. It's not the only place, but I think we definitely see the benefit of putting our listings on Zillow. And we pay to play. Mm-hmm. So we take great pride in making sure our listings show up very highly on Zillow. We can do things on the back end and we pay for things that most of our listings are on the first featured page. And then Zillow also does a lot of things. They send out emails to people the buyers that have been on their website. Buyers set up safe searches on Zillow. So, listings that we have that they're interested in, it can feed to their emails as well. So I think it's just another outlet that gets more exposure to buyers. So that's really a great pro. The one thing that sellers need to be aware of is that we do not directly input our listings to Zillow. So especially, I know we have a lot of sellers that will try to, sell their home for sale by owner first. And then if they aren't successful, they will contact us. So sometimes we have syndication issues with their data for sale by owner and then our data. And, with new construction, newer subdivisions, sometimes there are syndication issues. So the data may not always be accurate. And we, Marla in our office, she goes in and makes sure when our listings go on, she verifies that our listings have syndicated and the information is accurate. So they've gotten a lot better in the years recently, but that is a continuous battle we deal with.
And I think the moral of the story is just because it's listed on that site doesn't mean the information is completely 100% correct. It's probably a version of what it is, but kind of like Cheryl just said, lots of times information can get misconstrued, and it's certainly getting better, and it's certainly a place to go to, but just don't deem it as being completely reliable 100% of the time. So,
and then one other thing both buyers and sellers need to be aware of, and sellers have to give permission. Once your listing goes on Zillow, they have the right to keep that information and those photos forever. So since we don't input directly, and that's one way Zillow is trying, to get more accurate information. If your house sells, those photos and stuff will still be on there. So you can probably go up to your house now and find when it was listed previously or, historical information. So if you want to make changes to that stuff, or you say, I don't want that listing on there anymore once I've bought it, you're going to have to contact Zillow directly. And we have contacts at Zillow. We can help you with that. But
and we've had that issue come up where we've had people contact us, and unfortunately, once the information is submitted, it is out of our hands. So they are the owner of that property, so to speak, with the information. So it is a process, but it certainly can be done for sure.
And now keep in mind, we are a non-disclosure state, so we never submit sold prices to Zillow. If you want your sold information or what your house was sold for on Zillow, you can input that yourself, but it'll never come from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of dipped into the topic about the for sale by owner part, because I'm certainly, an advocate for someone. If somebody wants to sell for sale by owner, it's your home, it's your right. If you can get it done yourself, kudos to you. If you need the services of a realtor, though, I think that using a lot of these advertising platforms is certainly going to be in your best interest. And I know we've seen great results from Zillow as far as assisting our buyers in finding properties, for sale by owner listings, our listings selling quicker than the competition because we do pay to play. And we are a premier agent on Zillow, which I think is a big benefit to our team. But let's kind of dive into the for sale by owner topic that you just kind of briefly touched upon. If I'm a for sale by owner, what's my biggest pro and what's my biggest con, in your opinion, as far as marketing my property on Zillow?
Yeah, so I think, Zillow was a great thing for sale by owners. They get excited. They're like, this is a way I can market my property, and a lot of people can see it because, in the past, a lot of homeowners couldn't get onto major websites to market their home online, and it's free. Well, there's a reason it's free. When they want your for sale by owner or even our listings, because that's another listing that they have on their site that they can sell leads to other agents. So, sometimes, we've talked to clients that currently have their home listed for sale by owner, and they're like, we have it on Zillow, it gets a lot of views. We haven't gotten, that many showings or contacts from it. You have to be really careful of how you input that on Zillow, because when people click on that, your house, the leads can be sent off to other agents. And if you're okay working with buyers, agents as a for sale by owner, that might be completely fine. But if you don't want realtors involved at all, there are realtors going to be involved in Zillow. I mean, that's why it's free. There's a catch. So there's a lot of pros. It gets great exposure. And I don't know, if I were selling my property myself, I would definitely put it on Zillow.
Right. And I think, too, kind of like you said, the trick is, too, if you have it for sale by owner and for some reason haven't been successful and switch over to use the services of a realtor, that's where some of the information that you talked about earlier might not get carried over correctly. So there might have to be a little bit of tweaking behind the scenes to get that corrected.
Yeah, and we try to keep really close eye on that stuff. We do not want inaccurate information on our listings out there, so we do monitor that very closely.
Right. So the next topic that I feel compelled to talk about, because it comes up time and time again from both buyers and sellers, is the word Zestimate.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the most interesting topics to kind of educate folks on, because a Zestimate is truly that. It's an estimate. And so kind of share with us your knowledge on the Zestimate process part of it.
Yeah, so it's Zillow's estimated market value. They compute it, using different back-end things that they do. The one thing about Missouri with this estimate is we are a non-disclosure state. So some of the public information out there, all they have access to in Missouri is like public information, tax assessors information. So they have a hard time getting very accurate home values. I think in some areas they probably are pretty accurate. But in the fine print, if you look on Zillow, and I have it laid out, they have a rating system. And so it's 0 stars to 4 stars. And in Missouri has a 1-star rating for accuracy. And the 1-star rating means that all they can pull is tax assessor's value, or that they're unable to compute the estimate's accuracy at all. So the only information they would be getting is if homeowners submitted their sold prices directly or from the tax assessor. And I mean, we all know that can be off.
Sometimes that's not always accurate either. So I think probably the moral of the story with the Zestimate issue is that probably seek someone that has access to the correct information, whether it be an appraiser, a realtor in the community that has access to the actual sold information, or some viable form that you can actually find the facts about the property and know what the true history is.
And so you can see our sold listings on Zillow, but the price that's on there is the price that it was listed at. So, don't get that confused. If you see a sold house, that price is probably the list price, and it's not the sold price unless the current homeowner went in and adjusted that.
Okay. Well, and just like everything else in life, and especially in the real estate industry, with technology and all the advances that it's made through the years, there are some changes coming up with Zillow here in the pipeline too that I think some people are familiar with, others may not be. And so would you mind kind of sharing with us this morning, Cheryl, some of the new things coming down the pipeline with Zillow?
Yeah, so we set in on a webinar with Zillow on Monday, and a lot of the changes are more for agents. But one of the things that consumers, especially sellers, should be very interested in, and I know it's made headlines a lot, is Zillow's instant offers. And I know several other websites are doing this as well. What instant offers is basically a seller who values their time and convenience more than the price. Money, could submit an offer on, or submit their home on Zillow. For Zillow has investors. I don't know all the details that they have some large investors that they work with that would submit an offer to buy their house. And along with that offer, a local realtor will submit a CMA, comparable market analysis, so you can see what an investor's offer would be to buy your house or what your house potentially would bring on the open market. It is being offered in Phoenix, Vegas, and Orlando right now. I do think it's going to be a little while before it gets to Missouri. But that is a really cool thing coming down the pipeline. And I think there's going to be a time and a place for that, especially, with sellers that don't want to deal with keeping their home on the market, that have to get out of it quickly, that, truly. Sometimes
convenience and timing totally outweighs the price. So not always, but in some cases, depending on the situation, that's for sure.
So we'll probably keep you up to date on that, especially when it comes to Missouri, and when we get more details on that. But that is something that we're keeping our eyes on, and we're excited about, the new things Zillow has to offer.
Well, we've been participating with Zillow now for a number of years, and I have to say it's definitely been very advantageous to our business. There's certainly lots of pros, probably more pros than the cons, but I think a lot of it is just truly being educated and understanding the process behind the scenes, what it all really means to the end consumer. And that's part of our services here at Bev & Co. at House of Brokers, is to provide the information and education to our clients and friends so that you can navigate through the process and have very good experiences in your real estate transactions.
And really understanding where we're putting our listings. I mean, we don't just submit our listings to the MLS that feeds to all these big sites. We really want to understand what our marketing is doing, where we're putting our marketing, where we're putting your listings. We want to make sure, we know all the ins and outs, and, we want to keep tabs on if it's beneficial. And
we're constantly evaluating all the time where we're spending our marketing dollars to make certain that it's most effective. And I think our days on the market certainly prove that. And I feel like our buyers are very happy with the services too, because they get the latest up-to-date information as new listings come available. And in a tight market like we're in, and I say tight market with the definition of kind of that 250 and below, that's where the multiple offer situation comes into play. So having access to all the platforms to seek out all the properties available, possible for sale by owners, it's our job to basically find a property that suits our buyers' needs. And also it's our job to the seller to basically present their home and all the different platforms that's going to provide them the most exposure for a timely sale. So we're appreciative of all that Zillow has done, that's for sure. And, and one thing I do want to disclose is that we certainly don't prove to be experts on this topic as far as Zillow goes, but we're just sharing you our perspective of what we deal with day in and day out. And I feel like we do have a very good handle on it up to this point, and we certainly do our research with it on a daily basis and keep up to breast with everything coming down the pipeline. So, but it's going to be interesting to see with the instant offer program how all that's going to play out, how long it takes to get to the Midwest, and we'll certainly be watching, that's for sure. So okay, well, thank you very much this morning, Cheryl, for sharing us your knowledge and expertise. She's a wonderful asset to Bev & Co., and we greatly appreciate your service. So thank you so much again for joining in with Breakfast with Bev this morning, and we look very forward to seeing you next week. Enjoy your day.